In 1999, a civil engineer walked into a grocery store and legally stole $800,000 from 3 major airlines. His name was David Phillips. His weapon wasn't a gun or a computer. It was chocolate pudding, 12,150 cups of it. Each cup cost 25 cents. 3 weeks later, he owned 1.25 million frequent flyer miles. That was enough to fly first class around the world for the rest of his life. The airlines tried to stop him. Their lawyers searched every word of the contract but found nothing. He had followed every rule. And here's the part that nobody believes. The US government ended up paying part of the bill. This is how one man found an $800,000 loophole hidden inside a 2 5-cent pudding cup. 27 years later, he is still untouchable. He was trained to find the one weak point that could collapse an entire system. In May 1999, he found it hidden in a grocery store flyer. It started with a Healthy Choice Foods promotion. Buy 10 Healthy Choice products, mail in the barcodes, and earn 500 frequent flyer miles. Most people saw a simple coupon, a mild incentive to buy a $2 frozen dinner. Phillips saw something else. A pricing error, a mathematical anomaly, and a system that had failed to account for extreme edge cases. The promotion didn't specify which Healthy Choice products qualified. It simply said any Healthy Choice product. That included frozen dinners, canned soup, snack bars, and pudding cups. There was also a bonus. Any barcodes mailed by the end of May, 1,999 earned double miles, 1,000 miles for every 10 barcodes. Phillips did the math. If he could find the cheapest possible Healthy Choice product, he could buy frequent flyer miles for pennies on the dollar. He started hunting. Frozen dinners cost $2 each, too expensive. Canned soup cost 90 cents better, but not optimal. Then he found it. At a grocery outlet discount store, individual chocolate pudding cups were on clearance for 25 cents each. Each cup had its own barcode and qualified for the promotion. The math was devastating. 10 pudding cups cost $2.50 and generated 1,000 frequent flyer miles. That worked out to $0.0025 per mile, 1/4 of a cent. Airlines typically valued miles at roughly 2 cents each. At standard cash prices, a round-trip ticket to Europe cost $800 to $1,000 and required 50,000 miles. Using Phillips' method, those 50,000 miles would cost only $125. He didn't hesitate. He bought every pudding cup he could find. Phillips faced a major problem. He needed 12,150 pudding cups in just 3 weeks. Unlike digital hacks that scale instantly, this one was entirely physical. Every cup had to be bought, transported, and processed by hand. He started driving, hitting every grocery outlet, discount store, and clearance aisle within 50 miles of his home in Sacramento, Fresno, and Stockton. He bought out entire inventories. When shelves were empty, he asked store managers to order more cases from the warehouse. The clerks began to recognize him and nicknamed him the Pudding Guy. He needed a cover story and told them he was stockpiling for Y2K, the feared computer crash at midnight on the 1st of January 2000. In 1999, hoarding pudding didn't seem crazy. Over 3 weeks, he accumulated 12,150 pudding cups. His garage was packed, floor to ceiling, with cardboard boxes. His wife stared at the towers of boxes. "David, what are you doing?" He showed her the spreadsheet and the numbers. She thought it was insane. He called it arbitrage. She remained skeptical but was practical. She helped anyway. The real problem soon revealed itself. The promotion required physical barcodes. He needed to peel 12,150 labels off 12,150 pudding cups before the end of May. He started peeling. His wife and children helped. Their fingers blistered and their hands cramped. They were running out of time. Phillips realized he couldn't do it alone. He came up with a brilliant solution. He called the Salvation Army. "I have 12,000 cups of pudding to donate. I just need the barcodes back." The charity needed the food and had volunteers. It was a perfect trade. Phillips delivered the pudding, and the volunteers peeled the labels. Within days, 12,150 barcodes arrived at his house in neat stacks. He mailed them to Healthy Choice before the deadline. The brilliance of this move wasn't just the labor, it was the tax code. Under U.S. tax law, donations to registered 501c3 charities are tax deductible based on the retail value of the goods. The pudding cups had a retail value of 89 cents each. Phillips claimed a conservative $815 deduction on his taxes. That reduced his net cost from $3,140 to $2,325. He had acquired 1.25 million frequent flyer miles for the price of a used car, and the US government had paid part of the bill. But Phillips didn't fully understand what he had really hacked. It wasn't just a promotion or a pudding deal. It was something much bigger. To understand why this hack worked, you need to understand what frequent flyer miles actually are. They aren't rewards, they are currency. And the people who print this currency aren't regulated like banks. They are the airlines. Here's the secret nobody tells you. Airlines don't make most of their money by flying planes. They make it by selling miles. Every time you swipe a Chase Sapphire card, Chase pays American Airlines 2 to 3 cents for each mile. The airline creates that mile out of thin air. It costs them less than half a cent to fulfill when redeemed. The profit margin is 300 to 500%. A single pudding cup cost Phillips 25 cents. Through this promotion, it generated miles worth about $8 in airline currency, a 200% markup. How was that possible? Because the promotion was designed by marketing people who thought only in terms of frozen dinners and canned soup. They never imagined someone would find the absolute cheapest qualifying product and scale it to industrial levels. In 2024, Delta, United, American, and Southwest collectively lost money flying planes but reported $14 billion in operating profits almost entirely from their loyalty programs. Airlines are essentially banks. They print currency, control the supply, set the prices, and operate with almost no regulation. These loyalty programs aren't just about flights. They're about data. Every boarding pass, hotel receipt, Uber ride, and purchase made with a co-branded credit card is tracked, analyzed, and sold. The miles are the bait. The real product is you. This is the system David Phillips hacked. But the system doesn't like being hacked. Conagra, the parent company of Healthy Choice, was about to notice. Phillips mailed the barcodes in 2,506 separate envelopes, each containing 10 barcodes. He sent them certified mail and kept copies of every receipt, tracking number, and proof of purchase. When his submission arrived at the Healthy Choice Processing Center, someone noticed the enormous volume, 12,150 barcodes from the same person. Conagra panicked. They calculated that they would have to buy 1.25 million miles from the airlines, worth $25,000 to $37,500 at wholesale rates for a $3,140 pudding purchase. Phillips had turned $3,140 into over $800,000 in travel value. A legal team was assembled. They examined every word, footnote, and disclaimer in the promotion. They found no minimum purchase price, no exclusion for clearance items, no limit per household, and no cap on submissions. Legally, they had no way out. If they denied him, he would sue and he would win. 2,000 miles away, Phillips waited. Weeks passed with no confirmation, no miles added to his accounts. Customer service put him on long holds and gave vague answers. His friends told him corporations always find a way to avoid paying. Even his wife stopped asking about the pudding. Doubt began to creep in. Then, 2 months after submission, a massive package arrived. Inside were 2,506 certificates, each worth 500 miles. Phillips counted them carefully, 1,253,000 miles in total. Conagra had honored the promotion. He had won the first battle. But one final gate remained: the airline's fraud detection systems. He spread the deposits across multiple airlines for safety. He deposited 216,000 miles into United, Delta, and Northwest accounts. The bulk, 1,037,000 miles, went into his American Airlines AAdvantage account. Hours passed. The system stayed stuck on processing. Normally, deposits were instant. Phillips began to panic. What he didn't know was that 2,000 miles away in Fort Worth, Texas, an American Airlines analyst had received an automatic fraud alert. A single customer had just submitted over 1 million miles in certificates from one promotion. She reviewed the account, verified the certificates, checked the promotion terms, and found no violations. Everything was clean. She approved the deposit. When Phillips refreshed the page, his balance showed 1,037,000 miles, and he had instantly earned lifetime gold status. Priority boarding, free upgrades, lounge access, and bonus miles for life, all for $2,325. The story broke in August 1999 when a friend tipped off the Los Angeles Times. The headline read, "Man earns 1.25 million frequent flyer miles by buying pudding." It went viral. CNN, The Wall Street Journal, Time Magazine, and international outlets all covered it. Phillips's phone rang non-stop. Conagra issued a short statement. The promotion was honored as written. American Airlines stayed silent. It was too late to revoke the miles without looking like the villain. Phillips was untouchable. His hack inspired countless travel hackers to search for the next loophole. 9 years later, someone beat his record not with pudding, but with something the US government shipped to your door for free. In 2008, the US Mint launched a promotion to get new presidential $1 coins into circulation. Buy them at face value with free shipping and a credit card. Travel hackers immediately exploited it. One person bought over $1 million worth of coins, earned 4 million miles, and paid nothing after depositing the coins back at the bank. The government even covered the shipping. Phillips used his miles to take his family to 40 countries over the next 7 years. They flew first class, stayed in nice hotels, and created memories they would never forget, all because of $2,325 worth of pudding. David Phillips's story isn't really about pudding. It's about what happens when someone actually reads the fine print. Was he a genius who beat a rigged system, or a freeloader who exploited corporate generosity? Conagra honored the rules they wrote. Phillips didn't lie or cheat. He simply took advantage of a mistake that was never meant for him.